What do we have in store for the year ahead? Well, looking at where we are right now and what is going on sheds great insight on what we should expect in the upcoming year. Let's be clear, my own personal prediction of the real estate housing market for 2022 is that we will continue to see an increase in prices. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do believe that what we are going to see in the upcoming year is very similar to what we experienced in 2021. Prices going up and interest rates still remaining low. Although I do believe we will see some increases in interest rates, but relative to historical rates, they will still be extremely low. The lack of inventory, the high demand of buyers, and low interest rates are a sure sign of the housing market continuing to increase. According to a recent report from the National Association of Realtors, growth in the housing inventory has slowed over the past decade since the aftermath of the 2008 housing crisis, creating an underbuilding gap of 5.5 to 6.8 million housing units across the country since 2001. What else is happening that renders a positive real estate forecast for 2022 is that rents and housing prices continuing to increase due to the low supply and high demand. We are at a 4.2% unemployment rate, which closely matches the unemployment rate back in March of 2020, before the pandemic started. This graph shows the number of payroll jobs in the United States rising, but not quite back to where we were pre-pandemic. We see a surge of home sales since the pandemic, and this year was the most amount of home sales in 2021 than number of homes sold per year than in the past 15 years. And the median price of homes have soared to all-time highs at over $400,000 nationwide. The National Association of Realtors asked 23 real estate economists and experts about their forecast on inflation. Among them, the average forecast was at 4%, which by historical standards is still high. Ideal inflation is 2%. So their prediction of 4% is double the ideal rate, but is still not as bad as the anticipated 6.8%. And what about home price appreciation? The average consensus is that home prices will rise 5.7% from our expert panel. But remember, in 2021, they predicted that prices would increase by 6.8%, and the actual increase was 20.3%. So we can only hope for higher numbers than they anticipate. The median panelists agree that the Federal Reserve will be raising interest rates 2 times this year. That's the average consensus. The average being 2, with 11 experts predicting that, but 8 experts are only predicting 1 interest rate hike. With all that said, it's important to understand from an affordability standpoint that a buyer buying a home at today's rates versus a year or two ago, their payment is still going to be less now, even though prices have gone up since interest rates are so low. So, based upon all this data, with interest rates still incredibly low and with the number of new homes across the country that are completely depressed and needing more new homes to support buyer demand, as well as the fewer number of homes hitting the market, my guess is that 2022 real estate market forecast is going to be hot, hot, hot. Pretty much a replica of what we saw in 2021. There was so much demand and lack of inventory that prices kept creeping up. Buyers were willing to pay more for homes than what homes were listed for across the board, and giving sellers pretty much whatever they wanted. Sellers had all the leverage and were taking offers with little to no contingencies, and the terms of the contracts were mostly in the seller's favor. In my opinion, based upon this data, this year is going to be exactly the same. So, a quick recap on a positive note. The economy looks good, the tide is rising. Loan limits have increased and qualified buyers want to buy. Rates are low and should remain low relative to historical rates. The market is incredibly attractive to sellers, and sales will stay competitive, solid, and strong this year. Home prices may even keep rising. The bad news, what is dampening our housing market, is that we still aren't building enough homes and there are more buyers than homes available for sale. Obviously, the pandemic has created challenges for us. I hope you found this helpful. If you're looking for more real estate market updates, be sure to follow me at Heather Jones Real Estate and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Heather Jones with Heather Jones Real Estate and Westco Realtors, and as always, I'm here to bring results that will move you.